Trent, I don't really know where to start with that game. 7 sin binnings, 5 HIAs, of which 3 failed, 5 of the 8 tries scored by the undermanned team. Any number of talking points. So, overall summary, what would you like to say about that contest?
Yeah. I'll start with your line. Where do I start? It was, it was chaotic. It was, it sort of descended into a non-rugby league game in the end. It got to the point where it was, so stop-start and, not what we really want to see in our game. And then it got to, there was footy periods, and then who was going to execute their opportunities, and they did that better than us. So I think as a spectacle, it would have been interesting and different. And then the footy moments were won by Souths.
The key moment was you losing your key man. Firstly, how is James Tedesco? We were told that he passed his HIA and then regressed. Is that actually how it unfolded?
I'm not sure. I don't know what happened there, other than he couldn't come back. About 10 minutes into that, they got that he wasn't going to come back. So that's a critical moment. But our team has to adapt to that. If we're going to rely on one guy, then we're not going to be the team that we want to be, and that was a bit of the case tonight. So that was, disappointing.
Given the 7 sin binnings, should Tom Burgess have been sin binned right there, enabling you to activate your 18th man?
Look, that's... to be honest, I don't think that's for me to go into. After you lose, it's not... the game, I thought they handled the game really well. I thought we descended the game, as in both teams. I thought Ashley and the bunker handled the game as they should, and we can go on little points on different sin binnings and all of that, but I feel like both teams, again, we forced their hand and they played what was in front of them, and I'm not going to have an opinion on those incidences.
The tone was probably set when Victor got sin binned in the first minute. How did you see that, and what were the thoughts of the process?
Yeah, that was... I guess that's what I'm talking about. The tone was set then, and then the incidences that were going to make the sin binnings after that period were set. So that's the way that it was. It was an incident that obviously could have been played on from as well. They just could have broke it up and moved on, but that wasn't to be, and then that was the start of it.
What was the message like to the players? Because they just obviously didn't adapt.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yep.
And you would have wanted them to calm down.
Yep. Yeah, you want them to calm down. And then the game was on the line at 20, I think it was 24-14. The game was right there. It was 20 minutes to go. There was so much time. I think it was 12 on 11, and then it was 13 on 12. And that was the time for us to execute. It was time for us to get back in tune with how we wanted to play, and we didn't. And we missed those opportunities, and then they took it to 30-14, and the game was over.
Luke, can you talk us through how it was, what happened when you were playing against 11 men? Because theory is the team with more players should be running in points, but we saw the opposite today.
Yeah, I think we had 12 when they had 11, both times. I think. We just like Trent said. But we both took it to a place that probably shouldn't have gone, but then we just didn't handle it well. Obviously, we had a lot of changes there, but we didn't execute, and then Cody and Latrell executed on that left-hand side, and that was probably the difference in the end. We missed those opportunities back end of the first half, and then when it was 24-14, and South executed 2 or 3 of them when they had the chance. So, we just weren't good enough in that period.
Were you trying to calm, I suppose the forwards down?
Not really. Those boys will tread that fine line, but we couldn't separate that physical side from then going, hang on, what's the situation in front of us and how can we exploit it? We just didn't, as a team, we just didn't do it. We just were poor.
Did you feel like, Robert, that you lost the game rather than?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, as I said, Teddy going off and having that change, we had Kevy on the bench, which ended up being a really important one for us. And then Toops gets injured before half time, and then Connor goes out, and then you get the sin binnings, and you've got to move around that. And then they had the same ones with HIAs and sin binnings, and then I guess the key keeping the spine in order was an advantage there, which they did really well, and Walker and Trell were awesome when they needed to be, and so just the management of that, you don't get to practice those games very often, and yeah, I feel like we definitely had our opportunities. So we lost the game both through not controlling the physicality or the overcompensation for that physicality, and then also how to execute. And then they also won the game, because when it came to their points to do that, they did.
Robert, it felt as the more players were penalised or binned, the more players became aware of if they stayed down or if the game stopped, there would be an opportunity there for penalties. Do you see that? Do you see it as a problem today? And do you see it as a problem for the rest of the finals?
Are you saying on the Roosters side?
No, just in general, in the game, like a lot of players...
Are you saying that the Roosters
No, I'm just saying...
lied down there, Mick?
No, the game in general, it felt as though we went up... Like a lot of those sim binnings were referees getting instruction from the bunker. They weren't actual called in the play.
Yeah, sure, but I'm asking you, are you saying that the Roosters lied down for penalties in that
No, just in
game?
general, because I honestly can't even remember all of them because there was that many, but it
I'll
felt
just
as though
say
we
that
went upstairs a lot.
They didn't lie down for any penalties. So, I'd take umbrage to the suggestion that we lied down for penalties, because we didn't.
In the game, though, with Souths at all?
No, I don't have an opinion on theirs. I don't. I have an opinion on us, and that we won't do it. It's not going to happen. So you can feel I'm passionate about that, and that won't happen. And I'd ask you to have a look and say which ones, where did we do that? So just don't say in general, because that didn't happen from our end.
Trent, how confident were you about Tupou getting through the game? Was it a risk playing today a little bit, or just given you had lucky a few outside backs, you just need to play him today?
In hindsight, or in?
Or just before the game?
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't expect that to happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't have played him. I felt like he trained really well this week, and I didn't go back and have a look at what happened. But obviously, that was an error on our part in the end. If you've got a winger that can't play 80 minutes, we did have the other winger there to cover, so that was insurance there. But we didn't expect a couple of those guys to go down either.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.